Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Lucid's Tournament Game 7. This is turn 7 of our Helheim playthrough. So, let's jump into things. Alright, we've got 2 battles, and we witnessed a third, a battle in Ard. Let's go ahead and watch Titan's Breath Peaks real quick. This is the same amount of expansion party. 5 Hellherdings, a single mounted herdman, and a Van Hers versus a slightly reduced force in Titan's Breath. So let's go ahead and see how that goes. We get our blessings, our forces run forward. We route the... Nice. Nice. So we routed the heavy cav pretty early on in the fight. We're able to repulse the others. 16 kills on those Hellherdings. Let's watch that again real quick at double speed instead of triple speed. So the mounted units actually come up, and we get this weird scenario. We only kill one of the heavy cav before they break. So that's actually really lucky on our part. But we butcher the remainder of the light cav and the militia that actually make it into battle. So that was basically... I think we had that regardless, but if we hadn't broken those heavy cav as quickly, we might have taken a loss or 2. We have a battle in the Dead Forest. So this is a small contingent. 5 Hellherdings and a Van Hers, some of which are a little hurt, versus some Jade Maidens and some Amazons. So the Jade Maidens can be somewhat dangerous. They are a little broken up at this point, though, so hopefully we are able to pop them without them really forming up. Instantly killed one. Routed, killed another, great. And the Amazons aren't even in the battle yet. That is exactly what we wanted. So we come forward, and we should be able to butcher the Amazons pretty easily. Go ahead and bump up to double speed. Nice. So they are spamming out Tangle Vines. Fortunately, they're not being very successful. Got tangled. That can be dangerous. Boom. Kill. Okay, great. So, no casualties in Dead Forest. Fantastic. Then we have a battle in Ard. So, let's watch this. Alright, we've got Saramatia with some Oirapatas. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so what we can see in what has happened here is that Saramatia is using a tactic that I don't tend to like to use, and that is that they have their warrior sorceress. They have 5 Oirapatas on guard commander. So that's why these units aren't rushing forward. It's because they're on guard commander. So they're not going to move until she moves. So she's going to go through an elongated buff cycle. I say buff cycle, but really it's just making sure that everyone gets blessed, basically. And then she's going to go. So what do we got here? We've got a pretty interesting bless. We've got magic weapons, decay weapons. That's really interesting. Very neat to know. Shock resistance, poison resistance, fire resistance, cold resistance, defense skill +2, strength +4, and dark vision 50. So a combination of aggressive and or defensive bless, offensive defensive bless. Decay weapons is pretty interesting, though it shouldn't be as big of a deal for us because we're elves, so we have a naturally longer life than most people, but it's still going to be annoying. Strength +4 is a kicker, as is the defense skill +2. makes these Oi Rapadas very hard to hit and makes them hit pretty hard. They also have Awakened Tattoos, which is giving them some invulnerability, which is pretty cool. It's not really that great, though, because they've already got higher protection. So, well, I think that add. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Limited invulnerability, defense, and speed. Limited invulnerability and magic resistance. Oh. I don't know. I don't think that translates. I'm not sure. Anyways, these Oi Rapadas are going to be more than a match for militia and for heavy infantry. Let's watch them. They're just going to mulch through this stuff. They've got 2 attacks each, 2 units per, just like our Hellherdings. In fact, they are very, very similar to our Hellherdings. We have a bit more of a defensive bless, probably, than they do. So, very interesting. Here's one of the reasons why I don't like this, is you see them kind of like rubber banding, because they are staying near the. They could have killed a whole bunch of this. And why does that matter? Because every kill is experience, right? So gaining more experience means that these sacreds or the commander get a little bit more of a boost, right? And that can be important. That can be very worthwhile in the beginning of the game, right? Or even later on in the game. But doing this means that I guess it's kind of more of a defensive option. You stay more protected, but you don't get to run down your enemy. So, okay, so we get to witness that battle in Ard. What do we got going on? All right, so this is going to be dicey. We're going to talk about this because this is obviously the big main issue immediately, right? And that is Sarmatia has moved into Ard, which means they're able to threaten Brightgate and Zimria, right? So what are we going to do? We are going to try to take Brightgate. We are going to send Hearst 6 and Hearst 4 with a small army, right? With 5 Hellherdings and a mounted herdman. We are going for a little bit of an overload here. If he sends these Oi Rapatas into Brightgate, then that will mean this is going to be if we're meeting full strength, right? Because we might not be meeting full strength. That's going to be an 8-on-6, right? Is going to be the situation because there are, there are 5 Oi Rapatas and a warrior sorceress. Okay, so this is dicey. This is going to be a little bit. We're going to have to see how this actually goes. Because it's possible that we don't do that well against them. It's possible that they get lucky, they pop us, they rout us. It's possible that we hit the province first and we take some wounds. It's possible that they don't even go here. It's possible that they go into Laria, that he's trying to clear out his cap circle. It's possible that he goes to Zimria instead, or Ungbaloth, right? But we are making the guess. We are. I don't know that we're intentionally trying for a bump, but I want Brightgate, and I'm going to assume that he wants Brightgate. So why would he not go for Brightgate, right? So we're going to try to go for Brightgate. We're going to try to get it, and fingers crossed. If we don't get this, if we bump and he wins, this is actually kind of bad news. If we bump and he wins, this is going to put us drastically behind the timetable that we want. Not just because it will be 1 province less, but it will be yet another expansion party less, which means that we are not going to be able to combine and take down certain provinces that we are wanting to. We've already lost 3 expansion parties, I think, that we were wanting to maintain, that would have been able to combine with other expansion parties had they still been around. And we are unable to do that. We're also making 2 other attacks. One I consider to be relatively safe, and that is this Hearst 3 attack into 45 against these woodsmen and blowpipes. There's a possibility that there's a caster with them, and if there is, then that could be dangerous. But otherwise, we should be able to roll over them relatively easily. This other attack with Hearst 5 into Lyratos, though, into 27, is potentially dangerous because there are Wolf Tribe here. Wolf Tribe can be really killy. They've got multiple attacks, and multiple attacks coming at relatively low health Hearst can be very dangerous, right? They want to dodge a single big hit, right? I mean, they'd obviously prefer to dodge a single small hit, but if the choice comes between a single big hit or many small hits, they tend to want to go with the single big hit because they can dodge a single big hit multiple times over and over and over and over again. They can't dodge multiple little hits, and those multiple little hits are going to wear them down. Still, because this is a group of 6, I think there's the opportunity that we might be able to roll them over and rout them before they can do major damage to us. And we're at that point in the game to where we can't really slow down. We've got to continue to put the pedal to the metal as far as expansion goes. Otherwise, we're not going to be big enough to matter. We are continuing recruitment for another Vanhurst and another expansion group, and we are building our first palisade this turn in Kohnberg. Research-wise, we're continuing up construction too, and that's mostly it. We can see our neighbors are kind of starting to fill in the borders around us already, limiting our expansion opportunities. Enam is here. Fortunately, we've kind of expanded and dominated this front, right? That's good for us. But in the south, Marverni has kind of expanded and kind of limited us in where we can expand. And now Sarmatia is kind of already doing that as well. Because of our early, it wasn't quite a bump, but because of our early failure in Lombaria, we've kind of got this weird situation going on with Femoria. And honestly, because of these 3 provinces, less so the Bear Tribe, but it's still a problem because there's a bunch of them. But the Bone Tribe and the Heavy Cav, we need a big group to be able to take on these provinces, and we just kind of like, I don't want to commit to doing a big group right now when there are other provinces that I want to be taking. So, it's a dangerous thing to be dealing with at the moment. And that's pretty much the turn. So our income is doing pretty well. We're doing pretty okay. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 provinces on turn 7. That's not great, but if we are successful this turn, then on turn 8 we will have 13 provinces. And if we are successful, we could, depending on the situation, we could have a very good set of expansions on our hand. We could cap into Zimria and go ahead and take that. We could potentially take something like Wise Spring Grove, or we could hit Zimria and then double back into some of these harder to reach places. Maybe try to cap Silent Wetlands or something like that. Take Ancient Wood, and start to, here's a very important thing, start to infiltrate someone. Right, because we basically want to elf someone early on in this game. We want to elf someone as soon as possible, basically. So as soon as we're done expanding out of the gate, we want to be infiltrating someone's lands so that around turn 15 to 20, somewhere in there, we pull the trigger and we just mass elf someone, and fuck them up. So that is the overall plan. I don't know that that's going to work. So, fingers crossed. See you next time. Bye, everybody.